Raise your voices and up high. Battle cries, won't let it die. Shatter chains, break the lie. Claim the truth, no alibi.
Welcome back, everybody, to the third video in the four-part video series of the Bret Baier interview with Kamala Harris. The one and only true interview that she has or will have done leading up into the elections. So we're going to take another dive into it in this segment and see if there's maybe something that is talked about in here that you may have missed the first time. And we're going to have some fun and take it apart. So let's get into it. I'm Joe, and this is just your average Joe's experience.
It's interesting you said turn the page, Madam Vice President. You were asked on two different shows last week what, if anything, you would do differently than President Biden. Here's what you said.
Would you have done something differently than President Biden during the past 4 years?
There is not a thing that comes to mind in terms of, and I've been a part of most of the decisions that have had
Exactly.
impact.
Under a Harris administration,
She's been a part of all of it.
what would the major changes be, and what would stay the same?
Sure. Well, I mean, I'm obviously not Joe Biden.
I know.
And so that would be one change in terms of, but also I think it's important to say with, 28 days to go, I'm not Donald Trump.
So,
I mean, that about sums it up right there. She doesn't have a response. She doesn't even know what she would do because she has no experience in this category. She has done nothing. She just says, oh, I'm going to go along with everything because I don't know what else there would be to do. She has no expertise in running anything. All the positions that she had were through relationship politics, and she didn't do her job in any parts of those. The only things that she did was get stiffer sentences for black men in California due to possession charges, which she's gone on and joked about multiple times. This is who we have running as VP and potentially as a presidential candidate that never was even voted in, had any votes. 2020 presidential election, she was basically laughed on the world stage, and she dropped out because she had no backing. She was completely eviscerated by Tulsi Gabbard.
you're not Joe Biden, you're not Donald Trump, but nothing comes to mind that you would do differently?
Let me be very clear. My presidency will not be a continuation of Joe Biden's presidency. And like every new president that comes in to office, I will bring my life experiences, my professional experiences, and fresh and new ideas. I represent a new generation of leadership.
So she's going to bring in all of her past experience, which is nothing, and she's not going to add in anything new, yet she's copying and pasting all of her policies that literally Joe Biden had. Where is the response to any of these questions that is legitimate? There's none.
I, for example, am someone who has not spent the majority of my career in Washington, D.C. I invite ideas, whether it be from the Republicans who are supporting me, who were just on stage with me minutes ago, and the business sector, and others who can contribute to the decisions that I make about, for example, my plan for increasing the supply of housing in America and bringing down the cost of housing, addressing the issue of small businesses, which is about working with the private sector to bring more capital and access to capital to our small business leaders, including my plan for a $25,000 down payment assistance for first-time home buyers and for small businesses, extending the tax deduction from $5,000 to $50,000.
We've heard a lot about those plans in recent days. Your campaign slogan is a new way forward, and it's time to turn the page. You've been vice president for 3.5 years, so what are you turning the page from?
Ooh.
Well, first of all, turning the page from the last decade in which we've been burdened with the kind of rhetoric coming from Donald Trump that has been designed and implemented to divide our country and have Americans literally point fingers at each other. Rhetoric and an approach to...
So the last 10 years, I'm just kidding. The last 10 years, doesn't that go into Obama's presidency? I mean, I'd agree with that too, but
Leadership that suggests that the strength of a leader is based on who you beat down instead of what we all know. The strength of leadership is based on who you lift up. The strength of an American president, which is one who understands that the vast majority of us have more in common than what separates us.
Madam
That
Vice
is
President, more
turning
than
the page.
70% of people
That is
tell
about turning the
pollsters-
page on rhetoric that people are frankly exhausted of, Brett.
More than
People are
70% of people
exhausted.
tell the country is on the wrong track. They say the country is on the wrong track. If it's on the wrong track, that track follows 3.5 years of you.
I mean, she isn't wrong. I mean, she acts like the last 4 years have been no way affiliated with her. I mean, she's been vice president for the last 4 years and says that she's been backing Joe Biden in all these decisions. Do you really feel like Sleepy Joe's been running the country the entire time? Take a gander at what that's been looking like. Let's go back in time and see what the Joe Biden presidency's really been like. Oh,
Distinguished
what's he doing?
please welcome the
Are
Honorable
they pooping or
J.
sitting in an imaginary chair? And here's Creepy Joe at it again. Not Average Joe, Creepy Joe.
President, can you tell us, sir, Donald Trump refers to himself as a political prisoner and blames you directly. What's your response?
No, don't stop! Don't! Don't stop! Why can't they tell him whenever he's out in
Just
public
can't stop.
and he stops? No, please no. Okay, go.
Sir? Do you think the conviction will have an impact on the campaign?
Oh, he knows. He
What are your
knows.
thoughts, sir?
You want to hear these thoughts?
Why does everything have to be so
Oh, and let's go back to the CNN debate where that completely blew up for the Democrats. They had to toss him out. He didn't even want to go out. He just had to crumble with the party.
I'm going to continue to move until we get the total ban on the total initiative relative to what we're going to do with more border patrol and more asylum officers.
President Trump?
I really don't know what he said at the end of that sentence. I don't think he knows what he said either. Look,
And I'm going to
Dude, Trump's savage. Oh, jeez. Oh, let's sum it up in one word, shall we?
America is a nation that can be defined in a single word. I was going to put him foot.
How'd that go again? I don't know. Now, I do know that America can be summed up in one word. And our founding fathers were right on the money. Liberty. If life's so dear or peace so sweet as to be purchased at the price of chains and slavery, forbid it. Almighty God, I know not what course others may take, but as for me, give me liberty or give me death. Patrick Henry. Kamala thinks she gives all-nighter one-liners that, I mean, supposedly makes up for everything that she and Biden have done over the past 4 years by simply saying that Trump has been running for 10 years. As if that somehow justifies everything they've done, which has been a part of their administration, and they're looking to proceed with the same things in the current campaign.
President and President Biden being president. That is what they're saying, 79% of them. Why are they saying that? If you're turning the page, you've been in office for 3.5 years.
And Donald Trump has been running for office.
But you've been the person holding the office.
Come on.
Madam
You
Vice
and I
President.
both know what I'm talking about. You and I both know what I'm
I
talking
actually
about.
don't. What are you talking about?
What I'm talking about is that over the last decade,
But you're
people
the
have
lever of
become.
power.
But listen, over the last decade, it is clear to me, and certainly the Republicans who are on stage with me, the former chief of staff to the president, Donald Trump, former defense secretaries, national security advisor, and his vice president. One, that he is unfit to serve, that he is unstable, that he is dangerous, and that people are exhausted with someone who professes to be a leader who spends full time demeaning and engaging in personal grievances and it being about him instead of the American people. People are tired of that.
If that's the case, why is half the country supporting him? Why is he beating you in a lot of swing states? Why, if he's as bad as you say, that half of this country is now supporting this person who could be the 47th president of the United States? Why is that happening?
How about we show some video clips of Trump being sincere and showing that he really has heart and thoughts on the country and all those that reside in it. Here's a video of Trump talking after devastation from Helene in North Carolina, where I'm from, and unfortunately Asheville, just being a couple hours away, was hit quite hard. Kamala hasn't been down here, neither has Biden, but I mean, where else were they? Oh, I mean, but I guess they did give $750 of support to those that qualified. Now, mind you, there's people that have lost their homes, lost their families, and haven't even seen the president or the vice president currently in office to give support. Despicable.
I'm here today in Western North Carolina to express a simple message to the incredible people of the state. I'm with you, and the American people are with you all the way. We're going to continue to be with you. We'll see what happens with the election. And on January 20th, you're going to have, I think, a new crew coming in to do it properly and help you in a proper manner. To every family that lost a loved one or a loved one, this terrible storm, we ask God to give you strength and comfort and peace. You will have comfort and peace. It's been a terrible ordeal, and this area was hit about as hard as anybody's ever seen. To all those homes, and your homes have been destroyed. Many of you are rebuilding, and many of you are going to just start all over again. And the communities were ravaged and destroyed. We're praying for you, and we will not forget about you. We will never forget about you. We're going to be working with you for a long time to come to get it back together. When I'm president, I will stand with you until the communities are fully rebuilt. Every single inch of every property will be fully rebuilt, greater and more beautiful than it was before. We're going to have better. What happened to this neighborhood and the communities all across North Carolina, South Carolina, Florida, Alabama, Virginia, Tennessee, was an act of absolute devastation. Helene's vicious floodwaters tore wives from the arms of their husbands, mudslides buried the entire families and buried entire families. Grandparents died alongside their grandchildren. Homes, towns, farms, roads, bridges, schools throughout the region, they now lie in ruin. So beautiful an area, so beautiful it was. But it'll be more beautiful. But you can never forget the death, the death. All of America shares your sorrow and your grief over the past few weeks. This region has seen an extraordinary hardship, but in the midst of such terrible tragedy, we have also seen the extraordinary love that binds us together as Americans. And it does indeed. I want to thank our great first responders. They've never let us down. This was a tough one, but they never let us down.
Now, if you don't hear the compassion in that man's voice, the sincerity, I don't know. If that isn't trying to bring unity to the country that is under despair and has faced devastation, I don't know what will bring us together. But we do need to come together. We do need to be unified, as we are the United States of America. And that is what makes us great. It is not the division that separates us. It is the unity that brings us together. And Trump hits that on the head. I have friends in Asheville, and they didn't have any communication. There's some people that had communication through, radio systems that they may have had, but the average person didn't have any communication. Trump worked with Elon to bring Starlink to thousands of people in Asheville and the areas that had been hit in North Carolina, to where they were able to have communication again, to be able to tell their families, just, they're maybe in different parts of the country, that they're okay, as opposed to their families not hearing from them for months, potentially. These times are rough, and we need to be unified. That is the only way that we are going to be a nation that is truly great under God. We had Trump talking and actually visiting the sites and actually assisting and helping for what had happened with Helene. Here we have the tribute that he paid to Corey Compatore, that lost his life in Pennsylvania due to the atrocious acts of the left smearing him, hate speech that they supposedly are so against that it causes people to try to stand up and take the life of somebody else they disagree with.
Tragically, the shooter claimed the life of one of our fellow Americans, Corey Comparator. Unbelievable person, everybody tells me. Unbelievable. He was a highly respected former fire chief, respected by everybody. Was accompanied by his wife, Helen, incredible woman. I spoke to her today, devastated, and two precious daughters. He lost his life selflessly acting as a human shield to protect them from flying bullets. He went right over the top of them and was hit. What a fine man he was. I ask that we observe a moment of silence in honor of our friend Corey.
That they were just going to support what was in their beliefs, and they were faced with such animosity and hatred that caused those events. Now, I know that most of us men dream of going down in honor, protect those that we love. Unfortunately, Corey had to make that sacrifice. And he was brave enough and had enough love in his heart to do so. But that shouldn't have happened. The atrocities that continue under this administration's watch, the division that it causes in our country, the hatred that has grown for our country from those that live in it, it's disgusting. How far we have fallen as a country that we have come to this. It's saddening. But we continue on, and we just have to know that we're doing things for the right reasons, that the belief that we have in the betterment of all people resides in our hearts, I think is what is most important. Now, they've said remarks against Trump that he's only doing this for the money, he's doing this for tax breaks, he's doing this for basically anything that's not a love for the country. He's taken bullets for this country, which I would say over 90% of the country has not had to bear through that. But unfortunately, Trump has. Somebody that truly loves his country is not in it for the money, despite everything that they have said. Here's just a clip about showing that he doesn't care about the money.
The president continues to donate his salary to various government departments. Today, we learned he gave his second quarter earnings to the Small Business Administration. The SBA says the money will be used for the Emerging Leaders Veterans Program.
Now, people are saying that he hasn't been donating his earnings. I just asked, did Trump donate his salary as a president? Multiple federal agencies told USA Today that Trump did donate his presidential salary. While it's true that President Trump donated his salary to different federal agencies throughout his term, he still profits off real estate and other business dealings. So basically they're saying, yeah, he did it, but that doesn't make it, that's not even, doesn't make any difference because he still makes money. Like, he said he was going to donate his salary, which he had went on and donated his salary. And we're going to look over a clip about him working at McDonald's, because now I'm not sure if you're aware of the whole thing that was going on with Kamala Harris saying that she worked at McDonald's. She's just like one of us. She knows what it's like to struggle when McDonald's went through their records and basically stated that they don't have any records of her having been employed at McDonald's ever. So Trump wanted to, I guess one-up her in a sense, to actually show that he's going to do something that she hasn't done.
Never even touch it, huh? Wow, that's pretty good. Can I give it to these guys here? Thank you.
And the funny thing is that they went in and said that this was fake. Oh, it was rigged. It was AI. He wasn't really there. Well, what do you say about all the workers? Like, I mean, he literally was giving people out food. What about like the hundreds or thousands of people that were out there getting food from Trump? Like, I don't understand how you can say things are a lie or that it's not real when there's tons of people that
I mean, that's thousands of people. Hello, how are you? What a beautiful woman. Look at this beautiful child. The whole thing. It's like the perfect looking person. That's good. That's the compliment. Thank you, darling. Thank you. Hi, Mom. Look at Mom over there. Thank you very much. Thank you, darling. You have a great
What a
mom?
gentleman.
Good or great? That's right. She knew what to say. Thank you very much. Thank you, darling. Wow, so nice.
All right, you're doing a good job.
Okay, these are nice people we're meeting, huh?
So you're going to
Okay, got it. Larry, look at this guy. I'm not going to mess with him, huh? How you doing, sir? You look fantastic. Hello. How you doing, boy? How are you? Your new baby. How are you? Doing great. How are you? So this is compliments of you, okay? All right. You go have a good time. Don't eat too much, right? You have a great day. Thank you, man. You take care. Thank you, honey. Have a good time. Thank you. It's cute. This is fun. I could do this all day. I wouldn't mind this job. I like this job. I think I might come back and do it again.
Thank you.
It's Kamala's birthday. She's 60 years old. Yes, I would say happy birthday, Kamala. She's turning 60.
And then we'll continue back with what we're here for.
This is an election for President of the United States. It's not supposed to be easy.
I know, but
It's not supposed to be. It is not supposed to be a
So
cakewalk
are they
for
misguided,
anyone.
the 50%?
Listen,
Are they stupid?
Oh
What
God,
is it?
I would never say that about the American people. And in fact, if you listen to Donald Trump, if you
Biden did say they're garbage, though. I mean, that was put out there.
watch any of his rallies, he's the one who tends to demean and belittle and diminish the American people. He's the one who talks about an enemy within, an enemy within, talking about the American people, suggesting he would turn the American military on the American people.
We asked that question to the former president.
I'm just going to put this out there about the policy that Biden was putting into effect come if martial law is ever put into place, that anybody that is protesting against a government policy, that there's open, basically that they can just be shot on sight. That is something that has happened. She's talking about using the American military. Everything that they do, they put off the blame. They try to put it on somebody else and make it seem like the other people are bad people, that they're the ones doing it, when really they're just trying to shift off focus from themselves because they're the ones that are doing it. If they shift the blame onto somebody else, they're going to look over there and they're not going to spend the time and attention over there because it's basically, well, we said it first, so you're the ones that are doing it because we're the ones that mentioned it first. They're basically coming out and saying a crime has been committed, but it wasn't us. You got to look over here. Oh, well, thanks for, letting us know a crime has been committed. Let's go over here and follow up on this. It's just, it doesn't stop.
Today, Harris Faulkner had a town hall, and this is how he responded.
I heard about that. They were saying I was like threatening. I'm not threatening anybody. They're the ones doing the threatening. They do phony investigations. I've been investigated more than Alphonse Capone. He was the greatest gangster. No, it's true. But think of it. It's called weaponization of government. It's a terrible thing.
So,
Brett, I'm sorry, and with all due respect, that clip was not what he has been saying about the enemy within that he has repeated when he's speaking about the American people. That's not what you just showed.
he was asked
No,
about that specific...
that's not what you just showed. In all fairness and
I'm telling
respect
you,
to
that was the question that we asked him.
He didn't show that, and here's the bottom line. He has repeated it many times, and you and I both know that. And you and I both know that he has talked about turning the American military on the American people. He has talked about going after people who are engaged in peaceful protest. He has talked about locking people up because they disagree with him. This is a democracy. And in a democracy, the President of the United States, in the United States of America, should be willing to be able to handle criticism without saying he'd lock people up for doing it.
So we have Kamala stating that you should be able to handle criticism without locking people up. Well, I'm sorry, but isn't Trump the only one that's been the target for that several years now? And they're the ones that are trying to get him locked up? Having the judicial system turned in a weapon against him because, well, what, he's ruffled feathers and is attempting to change the status quo, which the Democrat Party has worked so hard to maintain over all these years. Who is the one that's been facing one phony indictment after another? Who's the one that's been sued millions of dollars in rigged court systems where the opposing parties have been, they've proven to either be beneficial to the system or that they've been colluding, tampering with judicial processes? Who is the one that has the media turned against him, has had withstand rigged debates, which, I mean, she just so happens to have facilitated and participated in? Now, is it just me, Or is she making Trump's case for him? Because the only one that's been attacked really is the working class. The only one that's really been attacked is the common folk. Who's been attacked is the God-fearing Americans. And who's been doing that is none other than Comrade Kamala Harris. Those are just my 2 cents. Now, we have to focus on bringing the country together, establishing the fundamental love for this country that has grown inside of us, that has withered away with the new generations due to the fact that it has been ripped from them before they were even able to understand or learn about it. The Pledge of Allegiance that was taken from the everyday curriculum in schools, the American flags that had been ripped out, just the overall love for the country has been turned into a growing hatred. Videos, trends, going out and burning and stomping on flags. People not really understanding and knowing what that represents. The mass amount of celebrities kneeling for the flag because they don't know really what it means. This is what's caused division in our country. Without a unified love for our country, we end with a unified hate. Division full of hate. And we can't have that any longer. We can't have this administration, again, for another 4 years, tampering and destroying the lives and the principles of what it means to be an American. We can't have it any longer. We need to go out and vote come election day for somebody that is not trying to destroy our ideals and strip away our freedoms and our liberty that has created this country, that our founding fathers spilt their blood for on this land. We must protect it at all costs. Join me for the last video in the series as we wrap things up and give you all the information that you need to make the best possible decision. I'm Joe, and this is just your average Joe's experience. Peace out.
In the streets,